Faith Seedstas de Hoofdshed Tulalip Tribes, Rosemary Valencia Seed Skoy, Rose Charles Seed Kaya, William Pritchett Sr. Tutsapa. Hi, my name is Faith Valencia. I'm Snohomish from Tulalip. My mom is Rosemary Valencia, my grandma is Rose Charles, and my grandpa is William Pritchett Sr.
Klinke Oxterstock Kiet Yacht Sakwadi Chaak. I am Joanne Rose Higginbotham. I am a 5th grader at Allen Creek, and today we're going to be explaining what a watershed is and pollutions and solutions.
What is a watershed?
A watershed is where all surface water flows into one point.
And what are the pollutions?
So for our pollutions, we're going to start off with fertilizers and pesticides in our residential area. We're just going to sprinkle some of that. And then we have our fertilizers, which these are at residential areas, golf courses, shopping centers. Next, we're going to go on to deforestation and erosion, which is our loose soil, when people are getting rid of the trees and there's lots of loose soil. And actually the soil can get into our waterways and affects the 3 C's for the salmon: cold, clean, and clear. The salmon need little pebbles about this big to lay their eggs on, and if there's dirt on it, they can't lay their eggs. Next we have the farm, where we have pet waste, like if you don't have fences and your animals can get into the river and poop. And then we have more erosion at the farm when farmers are planting, harvesting their crops. Next we have roadways, which is if you have a leak in your car or brake dust, tire wear.
So what can some of these pollutions do to the wildlife?
And some of the fertilizers and pesticides, there's a chemical called phosphorus. If it can get into the water and produce algae, and algae blooms that produce algae toxins, which are not good for the salmon. And like the brake pad dust and the tire waste, that can also affect our salmon. So now when it all rains, it all goes from our rivers, from our roadways, into our point for our watershed. Now we're going to clean it up, and then we'll show you all of our solutions. So we're going to start off with residential. Use eco-friendly pesticides, eco-friendly fertilizers and stuff like that. For our erosion, for our deforestation, plant more trees to help shade the salmon, to also help provide the cold, clean, and clear for the salmon. For our farm, we have add fencing so your animals can't get straight into your waterways. Add lots of wetlands everywhere, and that's kind of just everywhere. So for a natural filtration system and buffer systems, which are like a 30 to 100 foot yard of native plants, and all the roots act like a natural filtration system. And then for our roadways, make sure everything in your car is up to date. Use community transit such as buses, trains, carpooling. Use a bicycle to limit the cars on our roadways. So now, when it all rains, so now I'm gonna go grab our after cup. Now we have our before and after cups. What would you rather drink?
Definitely that.
What would you bathe with, have pets drink if you have fish, like pet fish, salmon, stuff like that? Yeah. Now we're gonna hear from a Tulalip Tribes expert. Yeah.
Thanks, AJ. Hi, everybody. I'm Todd Gray. I am an environmental protection ecologist here at the Tulalip Tribes. Today, we're going to be talking about watersheds on the reservation. Pollution in our watersheds affects all of us and all living things in various ways. Anything that drinks or uses water for habitat, which is basically all of us, and all of our animals and insects and birds. they can ingest this pollution, and that can really affect things. There are several watersheds on the reservation. We're going to talk about one in particular today. It's the Quilceda Creek watershed. This creek has quite a bit of pollution coming into it from various sources. Some of these sources include stormwater from development, like houses being built, roads being put in. Here on the reservation, we receive 35 to 50 inches of rain every year. So we have to manage that rainwater so that it doesn't just end up washing a bunch of pollutants into the creeks. And we work with developers and homeowners to build things that will collect that rainwater and then run it through soil and native vegetation, which actually cleans that rainwater so that by the time it ends up in the creek, it's nice and clean for our fish and everything else. Some of the pollution comes from trash and garbage that ends up accumulating in the environment. One way that we try to combat this is we put what we call buffers on creeks and wetlands and other critical areas like this to keep people and trash away from the creek itself. Here's an example of a type of pollutant we find in our waters out here. It's called 6-PPDQ. This is a chemical found in tires. In just very small amounts, this chemical can kill a lot of coho salmon. So we want this to not end up in our environments. Scientists like me are working on ways to filter this chemical out before it gets into the environment. That's something that we're working on. Now let's talk about something you guys can do. You can all get involved in a host of different opportunities to go pick up trash in beach cleanup events, stream cleanup events, and all kinds of things like that here on the reservation. And we hope you do that.